Press record.
Yep, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. We are live.
Hello.
Hang on. I don't think we're quite live yet, Shinno.
It says we're live.
We are live. Good evening.
Yeah.
Welcome to this slightly later episode of Bish and the Beard. I believe my partner in crime.
Did you call me? Did you refer to yourself as bitch?
No, we can get bitchy. No, I was about to say my partner in crime has had a corporate gig that he's been waylaid at. Such is the demand and popularity of the Bish and the Beard show that a corporate partner has taken Shinno on for some actual work. So good work there, Shinno. Welcome aboard, mate. I hope you got home safely. The weather is wild.
Oh, is it ever? It just sort of came from nowhere. I just landed in the middle of it. So wet and wild and ridiculous.
Absolutely. What a wet and wild time. So we're off to the races now. Once again, we're going to go through it. We go through it every week. What are you drinking, Shinno? Tell me.
Mate, as you know, I was in a little bit of a rush, so I didn't put my usual level of research into my beverage of choice for this week. I have settled upon, and I use the term settled because I went to a commercial bottle shop, which I...
Oh, no, Beer Farm is good.
Well, it might be good, but...
You get a little shine on it. Can you turn it around there?
It's not from... This is Beer Farm. This is the pale ale, and I'm not saying it's bad, but it's certainly not to my palate. It's probably a little sour for my liking.
Right. Okay. Yep.
But that's just my opinion.
No, fair enough.
Whereas I would have probably liked something a little bit, a little bit fuller, so to speak.
No, I can completely understand. I'll talk about mine in a minute, but I'll come back to, shall we say, the bigger bottle shops in a second. But I was lucky enough down at my local liquor barons to get myself into a can of or a 6-pack of Plan C, which is from the Other Side Brewing Company.
Right.
This is their reaction, I suppose, to the C-bomb. They decided to make themselves a brew that was a bit more affordable, lower in alcohol, of course, but slightly off the upper price range that some craft beers can get to, just to make things more affordable for us beer drinking punters during this time. So it's actually quite nice. It's not necessarily a drink I'm going to drink later on, and I don't think they'll keep brewing it forever, but it's pretty tasty. But I applaud the idea because really times are never so bad that you should be drinking really rubbish beer. So I would think that's something to be applauded, and it is pretty good. But I wanted to mention to you, just before we get on to our guest, the idea of, I don't know what you'd call them, faux craft beers that pop up in your Liquorlands and your Dan Murphy's and so forth, which, to be fair, they both do have a reasonable craft beer range, more so Murphy's and what's the other one, the big one, First Choice, tend to have a decent craft beer range. But you get these ones that they're just trying to look like craft beers, but you can tell they probably came out of the same factory as the Carlton Draft. Do you notice that, mate?
Yeah, I have. I think obviously they're riding on the coattails of the popularity of the independent brewers and breweries, which is, I suppose, it's just a bit, a testament to how well they're doing in not only our communities, but as the follow on from, I suppose, the takeoff of the wineries and moving into that market. But it's an evolving market, I think. So and fast changing. So,
I think you're definitely right. There is a a real fast changing thing there. And like I say, perhaps we've gotten a little used to it, and they've all taken on. So without much further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest tonight because I invited him along. Someone, again, we've met through the running community, used to reside down in Bustleton, then moved down to, I think it was Franklin River or deep south, and now back in the Swan Valley growing grapes at a winery. So I'm sure he'll be able to tell us about that. And I believe he might be drinking a bit of a Swan Valley brew. So we'll bring him in.
Open the door for him. Let him in.
Open the door. Here we are. Are you there, Matty? Where are you? Here he is.
Oh,
there he is. Hey.
hello.
Hello. You on board? He's connecting to audio. Got a tick. Good evening, Matty.
Yes, hello.
Smiling.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me yet?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you now.
We've
I haven't done a Hanson on you.
I love your T-shirt too, by the way. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. No. So you're on board. First of all, tell us what you're drinking.
I was listening to what you were just saying. I sort of flipped off at the end as I was waiting to connect.
Mm-hmm. The Biggie juice.
Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but they started craft, didn't they? So.
And for me, they're just up the road.
Yes.
When they're open from here in the Swan Valley.
Yep. Cheers. Anyway, I don't think we did a cheers.
Yes. No. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that is true. So Feral have kind of crossed over to the dark side in that respect. But that said, I don't think they've changed their beer production too badly. So,
No, it's still. I believe it's still. It's still pretty much the same, and they're left to their own devices.
Yes.
I guess it was a case of a big company seeing an opportunity to latch onto, like you said, the craft beer phenomenon.
Yeah.
And you can't begrudge the guys from selling out for that sort of money either.
Oh, mate,
No,
take it in.
they had a little bit of success pretty early on too, didn't they, Matty? So, which might have essentially directed them down a certain path. So.
Yes, and I know you put a fair bit of work in, and you get dangled a carrot like that. You know, it'd be pretty difficult to say no.
You'll know if Coca-Cola have taken over too much if Tusk appears all year round and in copious quantities.
Yes.
While they're still allowed to do something like Tusk Day, which I have either of you two ever managed to get down to the pub on Tusk Day and get a pint of it or a glass of it?
No,
for me, the last couple of Tusk days have been when I've been living well out of the metro area, so it hasn't really been an opportunity.
I never have, and I'm a bit reluctant to in a way because I don't like the idea of trying a beer. Sorry, reading our title there. Trying a beer that is then you have to wait another year to get another one. So I'm sort of I like to think that if I like it, I can buy it again. So that's probably my reason for not. But I think
it probably feels a little bit hyped as well to turn up to something.
It is, yeah. Like I don't really like queuing up for anything. Let alone queuing up for a beer. I know you have to queue up sometimes at the pub when it's busy, but queuing up to get into the pub I'd rather just go to a different pub. So I'm a little bit beyond that. So anyway.
Yeah. Now, Matty, I was going to say we don't really talk about work too much here. The Bish and I, it's really a bit of an escape into mindlessness, as you are well aware. But look, we do know that you are involved in the grog industry in some capacity. Is there anything there that you'd like to elaborate on there? I notice you have a beer in hand that might not always be your go-to beverage.
No, well, apart from my main involvement being a drinker,
we're all involved in that respect.
Yes. So I manage a vineyard out here in the Swan Valley, a pretty rather old historic site out here that the first vines were planted in the 1830s on the banks of the Swan River, and I'm also very lucky to get to live here as well. My office that I'm sitting in was built in 1897 as a distillery.
Wow.
And I'm sitting upstairs in that. But I guess every day of my work is involved in growing grapes and in the production of wine, I guess.
So that
very much a
Hortons
lifestyle job, yeah.
Hang on.
Sorry,
one at a time.
We both spoke about that. Was the old Hortons site? Is that correct?
Yes.
So do you occasionally find an old bottle of sort of a Jack Mann vintage lying around anywhere, or is that stuff?
No, those ones they were pretty careful to take with them.
Yeah,
when they moved everything down to Nannup.
Yeah.
But we were lucky enough to get some reasonably well-aged stuff handed over as they left.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well,
yeah,
what a great opportunity to end up in such a historical place such as that. So yeah, great.
Yeah,
Plus, sort of make the hairs on the back of the neck stand up at times. I would assume, just knowing the history that Hortons or that site has played in the Swan Valley.
Yeah, we'll have a wall.
I think we've lost him, have we, Bish?
No, we just lost a bit of sound there, but we've lost his sound, yes. Can you hear us, Matty?
No.
I can see his lips moving, but we've lost his sound.
Maybe he's lost his voice.
Maybe he has. Maybe he's just messing with us. Maybe he's just moving his lips.
Yes, look at him. He is. Right?
Now, how are we going to fix that? Let's try and troubleshoot him. Can you plug some headphones in or reconnect your audio that way?
That's it.
There he is. Beautiful. Got you back. So, sorry, what were you saying?
Did I talk about the mud pug wall?
No, you started talking about the wall, yes.
And you're much louder now. I don't know what happened then, but I can hear you a lot clearer.
I'm shouting so you can hear me better.
Downstairs, we have a wall pretty much made out of mud that was built in 1833 as part of the original buildings out here. And it's been extended onto sort of multiple times over the years, up to the 1990s, I think, was when the new cellar door was added on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. Yeah. Excellent. Now, Shinno, do you want to kick off with the first question for Matty?
Well, I think the first question, which is a new line of questioning, we haven't even grilled each other on this one yet, Bish. But Matty, what gets your goat? What's something that gets up here? I suppose really makes you feel passionate or really gives you the shits.
Glad you asked me that.
He's got a file. Not just any file, a manila file.
Few things recently, and I tell you what, we're probably kind of lucky out here. We're on a few hundred acres, so being able to isolate has been relatively easy. But we have had to venture into the shops every now and then. And what the hell are you doing in the shops with your whole goddamn family? Like, why are people in there? Mum, dad, kids with their hands all over everything when they're going through, but snot and on the rails of the escalator and all that sort of stuff. That's the thing that has been making me furious lately. I feel my temple throbbing now.
Yes. Well, look, I can't say too much, Matty, because I'm involved in some level in that retail environment, and I absolutely understand it, and understand your what's the word I'm looking for, Bish?
Frustration.
Sheer frustration, and yeah, absolutely. But it's almost seen, I think, where some families, as you said, they bring everyone along. It's almost like it's a free-for-all. We've got all these social guidelines and restrictions everywhere else, and they think, great, we can go to the shops and it's a free-for-all. They start doing stuff they never did before, as you said. You know, they start licking racks and fixtures and all sorts of carry-on. It's unbelievable.
They are the dumbasses stopping us from going to the pub sooner.
Oh, this is it. I view every imposition now as, when will this get me back to the pub? So if going to the shops less means not, getting back to the pub a month sooner, I'll stay home. I'll avoid the shops like the plague. And anyone who's not out there doing the right thing and following the things, they are literally standing between me and the pub.
Yeah, and that takes a brave.
That's not where you want to be. No,
you're not with us. You're against us.
Exactly right. Yeah, no, you're right. So is that everything that's getting you goat lately, Matty, or is there more in the file?
Oh, I have a fairly long list. I mean, I could probably run us through to about 11 if you want me to just do a couple of dot points on each one of them.
I think that might be enough. There's
probably a few people feeling that one as well, I think.
I think so. I look at it and you run around and you go, why are you doing that, people?
Actually, Bish, you know what gets my goat?
Yeah, go on.
When the kids leave their Easter chocolate around, but they only leave the shit. They leave like the red tulip. You know, they eat all the quality chocolate and they leave the red tulip that's been, I don't know where they've got this from.
Not a carrot one, is it?
Might even be from last Easter, I don't know.
I don't even remember when
I stumbled across it in the pantry, and I'm eating little bits of it as I go to try and sweeten my beer up a little bit. It's actually doing the trick. But,
I'm really sorry, and this is going to be a public apology. My family got, and I'm blaming the C-bomb here for this. My family got a Kit Kat each. So Tracy got one and Abby got one, because they were two for at the servo on Easter Sunday when I was on my way back from my run. So I stopped at the servo, bought some Powerade and the two for Kit Kat chocolate bars, came home. Happy Easter, everyone. And that was, but my excuse is I was staying away from the shops. So I have an excuse there. So, while we're saying what gets our goat, I'll give you what gets my goat.
The line at the pub, you already went there.
Well, no, that's true. People who complain about privacy issues on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, particularly with the new app, right? And they'll sit there on Facebook and give you chapter and verse why they're not downloading it because of the privacy. And it's like, you are on Facebook, people. You are not protected for privacy here.
And they'll check into every bloody place they go as well.
Exactly right. Yeah.
and these are the same people complaining and they refusing to upload the C-bomb app, but they're venting their displeasure with the government on Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah.
Or Twitter, or Instagram, or
or a combination of all three. Yeah, no. So that's
MySpace.
That's my go. Yeah, MySpace, of course. No, and while we're mentioning MySpace, check out the Bish and the Beard MySpace page.
Right.
Thanks for that segue there, Matty. Now, mate, a man's got to have a hobby. What's yours and why? Or what's if you don't have one, what's one you would like to pursue?
Well, for me, it probably has a little bit to do with my job and why I do what I do, and not the drinking bit, but growing stuff. So I really enjoy the process of growing vegetables, looking after trees, and that sort of thing. So I like to grow things that sometimes are slightly obscure or different, and working through with a little veggie garden, or in this case, for my job, I suppose. 90 hectares of grapevines.
Grapevines, yes.
Yeah.
And
exploring different things. If I could, I'd have my own little plot somewhere where I was making growing specialty products, I suppose, for things. And my aim is to one day have my own property where I can supply a restaurant or like that with a single site dish. So everything on a plate comes from the one site, whether it be the meat, the oils, the vegetables, all of that sort of stuff. Like sort of like, I guess, a single vineyard label on a wine bottle.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Now, Shinno, do you want to ask the last and most important question?
Absolutely. And this is the one that has
got a bit of insight.
It's really kicked off each week, hasn't it? It's gone in a myriad of different directions. And so brace yourself, strap yourselves down in your chairs, everybody. So, Matty, let us know, what's your favourite conspiracy theory?
Well, I'm glad you asked that.
Oh, look at you go, hey? Bish, between you and I think Matty is silently aiming to elbow either you and I out of a position in this show. He's outdoing us.
We did say we only wanted to get people who wouldn't outshine us.
We do not appreciate one up and see. I'm looking for a yellow card. If I had a yellow card, I'd yellow card.
And look at the way he makes his beard disappear. Watch this.
Yes.
Oh no! Yeah, well, there's two.
Magic.
Oh look! Yeah,
Absolute magic.
It's turned into the moonscape.
There's no beer on the moon. There's no beer on the moon, apparently.
No. So, what is your favourite conspiracy? We know it's moon related, but lay it on us.
Yeah, it's an old. It's really a classic, isn't it? The moon landing being faked,
Yes.
all of them being faked. So
Yes.
one through to
How many times?
whatever it is, 7 or no, there was heaps of them. I think there was 7 moon landings out of the 13 Apollo missions or something along those lines.
Yeah.
How many people would have had to have been involved?
Heaps.
And I don't know, maybe it's the US, I guess. Maybe they did just get shot and buried in a hole out the back after they'd filmed it. I don't know. But it's been it's such a long-standing one that so many people, it still pops up.
Well, and it's of course the original moon landing is 50 years old last year, so I'm guessing 51 years old. So if last year was the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, do you think this year is probably the 50th anniversary of the moon landing conspiracy? Do you reckon it's like only a day younger than the actual?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be. I imagine it started pretty quickly, and where I don't know, maybe it was the Russians that started that rumor, and it's just kind of gone from there. I mean,
I don't think you're wrong, man.
Is that a conspiracy theory?
By any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's all done a little bit differently. I actually think the people who believe they went to the moon actually do believe they went to the moon. Remember, we're actually talking about the time where drugs and LSD and things like that were so prevalent in society, where I actually firmly believe they were on the moon.
I love this one because it is so long and persistent, right? It is just, it will not die, no matter how much people debunk it and how many times.
And possibly being government related, people just don't trust the government.
And less so. And sure enough, the internet gave this thing a drive. One of my favourite parts of this one is the old comeback that Stanley Kubrick was engaged to film the moon landing, like to film the fake moon landing, but being such a perfectionist, he insisted that they fly him up there so he could shoot on site. And I just love that sort of the joke of it all. But no, I love it because it persists. It's pretty straightforward, and it produces such great fodder. I mean, I don't know if people can Google this if you like. It's an absolute rip snorter. And I might even find a link to it and put it up on the page later. But old mate Buzz Aldrin, who was the second man on the moon after Neil Armstrong.
And he was potentially the guy who shot JFK, potentially. Yeah.
No, Neil Armstrong shot JFK. So
I think we discussed that last week, didn't we?
We did.
Yes, I think Buzz was driving the vehicle.
Oh, Buzz might have driven the getaway car. That's true. Anyway, but there is a great YouTube video around of somebody who goes up to Buzz and accuses him of being a fake because you never actually landed on the moon or whatever. And rather than argue with him, Buzz at 70 years of age just absolutely lays a punch straight into him and lays him out. It's like, I can't even bother to explain this to you. How dare you call me a liar? Boom. He just pops this bloke, and I'm thinking, that is just great. I love it. So, no, that was I like that one. No, it is one of my favourites.
I'm sure those guys would have all had contact with quite a few loonies over the years that accused them of being fakes and tried to call them out and gave their reasoning behind it. You know.
You'd have to just listen to all these people. Yeah.
But let's just say for a moment, it did happen. They did land on the moon. How frustrating would it be for that to be your life's work? Everything you've invested in, and still people down the street, there's so many non-believers.
Oh, it'd be terrible. It'd be absolutely.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, because it is pretty impressive, and not only the astronauts who went, but what about the the people who press the buttons down on the ground and the engineers and all the rest of it who, designed the science.
It really is pretty impressive to go all that way. I mean, this year's avoiding going to the shops. And those guys have gone all the way to the moon.
And I've actually realised that since this Zoom thing has come about, I might never need to go that far again. Like, I'll just... Yeah, if it's local, I'll go. But if, you want me to come down to Rockingham to see you? No, we'll Zoom that. No. So I can't see myself going too far ever again. So we'll stick nice and close.
It's going to change the way we work. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of cheap CBD real estate.
Yes.
And businesses start to realise they don't need 2 floors on St George's Terrace.
There's going to be a lot of people who suddenly... realised that sending old mate over to Melbourne to have a 1-hour meeting with somebody and, costing flights and hotels was really just ridiculous when they can pop a laptop in front of him and have him do it via Zoom.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for stuff like the supercars. I mean, they've been doing that quite well on the Xbox or whatever it is they're using to do it. Why spend $1 million on a car when you get an Xbox subscription?
Get a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drivers will go pro. Yeah, no, that's one sport that could just about probably keep itself sustained there. So now I had a little note from your brother, Matty, on one of my Strava things yesterday. So this is a question that's not on the list.
Yeah, so I did see that.
I think you were tagged in it.
Yeah.
I believe you used to live in Gallipoli Street, which is, for Shinno's benefit, effectively my nearest cross street. My street crosses with...
So I lived on the corner of Midgley and...
Gallipoli?
Sorry. Yeah. And Gallipoli, so just up there.
On the public side or the... on the...
Closest to the Red Castle side, on the Red Castle block.
Yep. I know where it is. Yep. I'm in Cookham, the next street. So
it was an old crappy house at the time. It's had another house built in the backyard, I think. Since
okay, so it's the red.
We left, but I was there. I would have been 19 or 20, something like that. Working in the bottle shop down on Bishopsgate Street.
Oh, that's where these beers came from. The liquor barons on.
Yeah, good crew down there. Lots of good beers.
Great craft beer lineup. So yeah, good little shop. Very handy to me. So
But I also lived in Staines Street for a while, much later. So just around near the footy oval.
Yep.
And I've also lived on Bishopsgate and in Lion Street and Carlisle. So I've lived around that area a bit.
Okay. Yeah, so you know the area pretty well. Yeah, so that wasn't quite the revelations we were expecting, like just a sort of a map of the area. We were expecting a few stronger stories.
There's stories I could tell, but I don't want to be doing 7 to 10 on the inside.
So we just need to say that it was a good fun time had by all.
Yeah, I lived with a couple of guys that worked at Eagle Boys Pizza,
right?
Just down below the pub.
Yes, near the servo, between the servo and the budget. Yeah, not there,
yes,
but yeah.
And we had some fun times. It was a bit of a party house, young guys.
I was saying that the pub then. When are we thinking? Early 90s here.
Yes, so would be 93, 94, around that.
The pub there at that stage was a bit rough and ready. It's had a bit of it's had a couple of facelifts since. Yeah,
now I think around that time was when someone bled out on the footpath after being stabbed in the neck with a broken pool cue. Yes. So that was the kind of pub that was.
Well,
that's different.
And Matty, I'm assuming that's not what you're thinking about going into serve 7 to 10 years.
No, that wasn't.
You had nothing to do.
That was nothing. I was not there.
Not there.
Okay.
I was on the moon. You saw the pictures.
At one stage, it was called the Bat and Ball, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I think it was. I'm thinking it was the Bat and Ball late 80s. I never went there. God, I was way too soft.
So, as a poor student and working in liquor, we did a little thing called preloading before we went out.
Oh,
so
cool.
It was
yep.
Drink some cheap booze and already be drunk when you go out. So
you still do that.
A hazy recollection of stuff like of going there or your goods in Vic Park.
Yeah, well, we don't really do that now, Bish, because we just preload up at home and we stay home.
We don't go out.
We don't even go anywhere.
Preload for bed.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, that does tend to be the thing. Going out for lunch maybe and coming home and having a snooze on the couch about 4 because you've had too many pale ales.
I'm just saying you're preloading for lunch.
No, not preloading for lunch, but not necessarily seeing Fat Cat go to bed because you've been on the pints all afternoon. Now, last week, Shinno and I discussed bizarre gigs we've been to, and I think you might have mentioned on the Facebook page, Matty, that you had.
I did comment.
So what do you got? I've got another one someone's relayed to me, but you go and tell me what
I've been to some crackers over the years, but
we want the bad ones here. We want the bizarre. That's what we're after.
Well, this one wasn't. It was actually a very good gig up until this point. So it was Machine Gun Fellatio. At the Coconut Club in Dunsborough. So I lived with some guys that worked there, and in the staff house, it was 2 doors down, and they had this sort of a temporary stage set up out in the restaurant area, and it was middle of summer, quite hot, ceiling fans all going, and one of the members of the band has jumped off the stage and jumped a little too high and copped a ceiling fan.
Ooh.
And continued to sing.
Right.
So
blood pouring out.
A flap on the forehead, yeah. quite a bit of claret coming out, and I think they possibly were wired enough not to really feel it for a little while. But that was a pretty unusual gig, and a relatively small gig, being that sort of venue wasn't really large, so there might have been, they're a little bit hazy, but maybe 150 people or something like that.
And unless you were on fire safety, no need for you to have been counting, so that's fine. That's fine. Unless you're on the door, it doesn't matter.
But it's pretty memorable.
It sounds like it. No, and I imagine every single machine gun fellatio gig would be memorable for one reason or another.
Yeah, they were pretty loose cats.
Yeah. No, they were pretty. I never got to see them live, but I can just imagine from when I've seen Pinky on things like Spicks and
Yeah, well, they were an interesting mix of.
Yes.
They really did not give a shit what you thought. They were just there to have fun and make some music.
They were very much there to please themselves. So, yeah. No, I had one relayed to me after the show last week, and I wish he had commented on it, but I'm going to steal it. But hello to Pete Harty if you're watching, because when I spoke to him on the phone, he told me about this. And Daryl Braithwaite got a number of mentions in last week's comments for some reason. And
I went to Daryl Braithwaite here like a few months ago.
Oh yes,
he's played on my front lawn.
Yeah.
See, well, this is what I said last week. He just turns up anywhere. You know,
he does get around. Well,
trying to spend less out in the suburbs or out on your lawn, you just turn around and Daryl's there. You mention something's on, and Daryl will be there.
Yeah, he would come to the opening of a car door. But this one I cracked up when I heard it. Pete was up. He's a teacher, now a principal, was up doing his prac in Derby. And Daryl Braithwaite had come for a show at the local pub, and he'd bought a ticket and then ended up in the front bar having a drink and didn't go into the show when it started. But his colleagues did, or whoever else he was there with. Anyway, an hour or so later, he's still in the front bar chatting with people, having a beer. And out these people come, disappointed as all get out, because it's just Daryl Braithwaite showing slides about his life. It's a slide.
Here's a slide of me in front of Spendless shoes.
Yes.
Here's one of me on Matty's lawn.
Him giving you a lecture about how good he used to be. Like, no gig. And I heard this. So this is a second-hand story, but it is absolutely well within the wheelhouse of the gigs we want to hear about, people.
They were playing the CD in the background, though, while he was showing pictures, surely.
I hope so, but really, if you had paid money for that, you would be personally demanding a round. So they're the gigs we want to hear about, where you thought it was going to be something, or you went along to something and thought, well, that's it. So, like you turned up at the soccer and you saw James Ray. So I want to be hearing about these gigs more for people. Have you had any come to you, Shinno, or?
No, nothing more on that, mate, at this stage. But no, absolutely. I think there's some legs in that. I think the main thing is just tapping into the faded history, isn't it? Once you've had a few grogs under the belt, they don't freely come to mind sometimes. So,
no,
but,
exactly right.
But I think we'll certainly need to investigate. Actually, why I've got Matty here, a couple of weeks ago, I did a segment which is on hiatus at the moment because I had no interest in it whatsoever. And I'm just going to ask Matty, because I'm going to see if I can do a deal with Matty. Now, I don't know if you saw the other week, my pop-up bar, Matty. Did you watch that?
Did.
So I'm putting to you, Matty, and I don't expect you to come up with the goods right now. Maybe tomorrow, maybe put it in the diary. If there's something around the place you think you may have of value which you would consider a worthy trade. Yes, there we go. It's incredible you've got everything to hand. Have you got someone in the office there passing you things? Do you have an assistant?
My PA, yes.
Right. Wonderful.
And sorry, they've gone now, so.
Yeah. Hey, can we ask? Well, I actually thought, because I saw you sneakily reach for a red wine moments ago. What are you drinking there?
It's a Barossa Valley blend of Montepulciano, Negro Amaro, and Aglianico, called Colours of the South. Arrived in the post box today from a good friend of mine that works over at Artisans of the Barossa. I'm just having a little sample. It's very tasty.
Great.
Because that was my last can of bean juice. So
yeah. Okay. But so yeah, that's the only thing I'll put to Matty. So Matty, if you could consider something that might be lying around, which is of absolutely no use to you, but maybe use to somebody else. We are looking, maybe, as we said, we're not promoting this segment as we were the other week, but I think I saw an opportunity to slip it in there. I thought maybe Matty's had, a beer, he's had a wine. We've softened him up. I'll slip it in there and see if he can come to the party with something of value.
I've got warehouses of old crap around here, so...
Careful what you wish for, Shinno.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just organising with my PA to get the semi-trailer organised.
Right.
Shinno will have all this stuff dumped down there.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So we're sending 14 ton of old pallet racking around.
Okay, that'll be marvellous. I have absolutely no use for that whatsoever.
Asbestos fencing. Yep. You'll take that. Yep.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everything. It's been good. It's been pretty stormy. It looks like we are getting ever closer to getting back to the pub. So if people could stop going to the shops, getting sick, and doing all the wrong things, then we would be able to possibly make that happen. I think we've just about covered it. Do you have anything else you want to add, Shinno?
No, not really. I'm just sitting here. I'm feeling a little bit regretful, really, that I didn't maybe go for a porter or something a little bit more suitable for the weather. It's a very much porterish weather out there.
It is getting about the time to start checking out the stouts and getting into the winter beers. We almost missed the red autumn beer season. I think we've been through that.
Yeah, I think I only managed to get a couple of those in, and we've moved on already.
I see Cheeky Monkey has the Imperial Red Monk out again.
Yes,
yep.
I'm looking forward to getting a go of that. And
dangerous son of a bitch that is.
Oh yes, absolutely. And once again, if any breweries do want to sponsor the show, we are very open to that. We have a massive number of viewers.
Yes.
And if anyone has any ideas for gigs they'd like to tell us about or whatever, please message us on the page and we'll go from there. So,
actually, Bish, one thing I'd like to do is that once the whole sea bomb subsides, I'd love for anybody who might be watching to suggest where we can get together for our first beer in the flesh.
Oh, yeah. Well, and
that would be open to everybody. We'd love everyone to come and join us. But where can we be?
That would be great. And I think we will have a little live broadcast out of that venue, wherever that happens to be. Yes. So, yes, suggestions about that. Where will be the first place we'll all get together for a beer?
Well, are there that many places big enough in Perth? So we're talking Burswood, Optus.
Well, there will be a lot of disappointed viewers potentially, Matty.
If we can't get a big enough venue, we'll have to run some sort of lottery or something. So
might have to go East Coast.
We'll have to have a ballot.
A ballot to see who gets to come, or it'll be a couple of sessions. You get to come in for the first hour.
Oh yeah, the matinee, and then
correct. Yeah. Nice problem to have. I don't know that we will have it just yet. But anyway, put your minds to that. I reckon it'll be blaster because I don't want to go anywhere.
And let's be honest, you don't like moving too far from home.
Well, exactly right. Yeah. So if I can't walk there, I don't know that I'm going there. So that's
mate, it's walking back that's the issue, isn't it?
It just takes a little longer. No, it's all good. Thanks for joining us, Matty. We really appreciated it.
Hey, no worries. It's been a good chat.
Yeah, it's been a
wonderful
fantastic chat. And we'll be back next Tuesday night to have a chat, like we're at the pub, talk a bit of smack, a bit of mindfulness. So thank you, Matty. Thanks, Pete.
No, thank you, Bish.
And this will be up on YouTube by tomorrow morning, and you can watch it again on Facebook later if you've missed it now. So, I told you that.
Wonderful.
I watched it. So, we'll see you all next week. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, gents. See you all.
Cheers.
See ya.
Catch you then.
See ya.